Welcome to this installment of the Community EMR instructional videos, Community Scheduler section. This video was developed by the WRHA CSIS team in coordination with EMR users. This video is meant as reference material regarding the functionality of the EMR. Examples provided during demonstration cover various workflows and should not replace any on-the-job instruction provided by on-site supervisors, managers, or directors. The following topics will be covered during this session: Provider Scheduler Viewing Mode, Navigating Dates within the Scheduler, How to create a patient appointment, Managing patient appointments within the Scheduler, How to create a non-patient appointment, How to create a group appointment, and how to print a day sheet from the Scheduler window. Scheduling appointments is managed in the Scheduler section found on the left side panel of your Community screen. When this area is selected, the user's last setup will be displayed. For purpose of this demonstration, I have cleared the Scheduler section to a No Matching Days screen. We will begin by setting the user's preferred options for viewing provider schedules. Depending on your role within EMR, you may choose to view only a single provider, perhaps that is yourself, or the workflow may involve the management of multiple provider schedules. To set a single or multi-provider view, begin by hovering the mouse over the bar at the top of the Scheduler window and right-click on the mouse. Go to Providers. Provider names for your site will be displayed as well as options to select all providers and no providers. For this demonstration, I will put Provider B to demonstrate the view options available with only a single provider schedule. With a single provider open, the user has the ability to view either a single day or multi-day view. This is done by right-clicking on the provider name and selecting Full Week. This provides a 7-day week view. You do have the ability to refine this to specific days of the week by right-clicking and selecting Day of Week. You would then deselect the days of the week you would rather not view. For example, if the provider works Tuesday through Saturday, we would deselect Sunday and Monday. To view or switch between providers in the full week mode, you can select the provider drop-down located on the right-hand side of the screen to select the desired provider you would like to view. The option for viewing multiple days only works when a single provider schedule is open. When the user is viewing multiple providers, the schedule view is limited to a single day. When in a multi-provider view, the user also has the option of adding providers to the schedule by selecting additional providers in the drop-down located on the right-hand side of the screen. Removing a provider can only be accomplished by right-clicking on the provider bar at the top of the Scheduler window, as demonstrated earlier. At the bottom center of the window, the date which is currently being displayed on the scheduler is shown. The arrows at the bottom of the window can be used to navigate to other dates. The arrows pointing to the right move the schedule forward. Clicking on the 1D arrow moves the schedule 1 day forward on the right and 1 day back on the left. Using the 1W arrow moves the schedule 1 week forward on the right and 1 week back on the left. And lastly, 1M arrow moves the schedule 1 month forward on the right and 1 month back on the left. The Today button will bring the schedule back to today's date. The small calendar displayed on the bottom right-hand corner of the window will allow you to navigate the scheduler to other dates. Today's date is always displayed in red. The shaded date identifies the date that is being displayed on the scheduler. The date being displayed on the scheduler can be changed by clicking any date on the calendar. The month and year can be changed when necessary. To load a patient, always start by pressing F1 on your keyboard. If you do not currently have a patient loaded, your cursor will be blinking in the patient field at the top right-hand corner of the window. If you do have a patient loaded, the patient's name in the patient field will be highlighted. Type in the last name of the patient you wish to load. After the first 3 letters are typed, a search box will be displayed with the names of patients matching these letters. Select the patient's name from the list to load the patient's file. I will load patient Andrew Armstrong. The patient's name and some demographic information will be listed on the top right-hand side of the window. The demographic information listed and the order the information is displayed in can be changed if the user prefers. To add or remove information displayed, or to change the order the information is displayed in, hover the mouse over the demographic information and right-click. Click on Options to open the list of patient demographic fields available to be displayed. Select or remove checkboxes to add or take out any fields you would like to display. The order the fields are displayed in can be customized by selecting the field you would like to move and use the blue arrows to move the field up or down. The user can also identify if they want the middle name and/or the alias for the patient to also display. This is available by adding a check in the checkbox adjacent to that option. Select OK to save your changes. With the patient loaded, find the appointment time and provider you wish to book. I will select provider B for 9:30 a.m. Right-click and select Create Appointment. The appointment details window opens to allow you to set details for the appointment. Details which need to be set are specific to each site's needs and workflow. The required information that needs to be entered by all sites is the appointment length, type, and reason. For this example, patient Armstrong requires a 15-minute appointment. It is a general office visit, as selected in the type drop-down options. The reason for the appointment will be a follow-up. Please note that appointment types and reasons will be specific to each site. In addition, I will create a note for this patient appointment. This is a free text field where the scheduler is able to include information specific to this appointment when necessary. For this example, patient Armstrong has identified he requires a prescription to be renewed. The pop-up note will also be very specific to this appointment visit and will only flag when the appointment is selected. It may be used to remind the user of some required action when interacting with the patient. For example, I require patient to provide his new address. Once you are satisfied you have completed all the necessary fields, select OK. You will now see the patient appointment within the provider schedule. When you hover over the appointment, it provides a quick glance of the appointment details. When you click once on the appointment, your pop-up note will be visible and require attention. To demonstrate an alternative method to booking appointments, I will load a new patient, Nellie Newman. Please remember to always use the F1 key to load new patient information. Once your new patient is loaded, you hover on the patient name in bold and click and drag into the selected time with the selected provider. In this case, I will book patient Newman at 11 a.m. with provider B. You will see this prompts the appointment detail box where you will complete the appointment information as described earlier. Appointment length, appointment type, and reason must be completed. Notes and pop-up notes are up to the user to complete. Select OK. You can edit a previously created appointment by double-clicking on the appointment, and any of the details can be changed as necessary. An appointment can be rescheduled by cutting the appointment from the original day, time, and provider slot and pasting it into a new day, time, and/or provider slot. To do this, hover the mouse over the appointment to be rescheduled and right-click. I will reschedule Nellie Newman. Select Cut Appointment from the menu listed. Move the mouse to a new day, time, and provider slot where the appointment is being rescheduled to. For this example, I will reschedule patient Newman to an appointment at a later time next week using the calendar on the bottom right of the screen. Once the new date and time is selected, right-click on the mouse, select Paste Appointment from the menu listed. The appointment is now moved from the original scheduled day and time to the new day and time. To cancel an appointment, hover the mouse over the appointment to be canceled and right-click. I will continue to use the rescheduled appointment for patient Newman. Select Cancel Appointment from the menu listed. It is important to enter the reason why the appointment was canceled. You can select from the drop-down list or enter as free text. A confirmation window will open requiring you to confirm the action to cancel the appointment. The appointment that was canceled will be removed from the schedule, however, it will be retained as a canceled appointment in the patient's appointment history F4. Please note, appointment history will be reviewed later in this video. An appointment that was created in error should not be retained in the patient's appointment history. Right-click on the appointment that was created in error, select Delete Appointment, and select OK. The appointment will be removed from the scheduler, and no history of the appointment will be retained on the patient history. When a patient arrives at the clinic, the patient can be marked as arrived in the scheduler. This allows the provider to see from their day sheet that the patient has arrived at the clinic. To mark a patient as arrived, hover the mouse over the appointment and right-click. Select Arrived from the menu listed. An A will show on the right side of the appointment time slot. If a patient did not show up for their appointment according to your clinic's direction, the patient appointment should be marked as a no-show. To mark an appointment as a no-show, hover the mouse over the appointment and right-click. Select No-Show from the menu listed. The appointment will remain on the provider schedule, and an NS will show on the right side of the appointment time slot. I have referenced patient appointment history a few times throughout this demonstration. You can view a patient's appointment history by selecting F4. Remember, you will retrieve the information according to the patient currently loaded. Use F1 if you wish to view another patient's history. The appointment history window is broken down into 3 sections. The top contains the patient information details, the middle section identifies canceled appointment history, and the bottom section identifies past, present, and future appointments. Returning to the scheduler view, non-patient appointments can be added to a provider's schedule. For example, the scheduling of a meeting. Hover the mouse over the time slot in the provider's schedule when the meeting is to begin, right-click on the mouse, and select Create Appointment from the menu listed. The appointment details window opens. Ensure No Patient is selected at the bottom left corner of the appointment details window. Change the length of the appointment to the length of the meeting. Change the type to meeting. Leave the reason blank. The specific information regarding the meeting, for example, what the meeting is or the location, can be entered into the note field. Select OK. You will see the meeting appointment is now scheduled within that provider's day, and the color of the appointment defaults to the appointment type meeting, which in this case is yellow. Creating group appointments where multiple patients and providers may be involved is achieved by right-clicking within the provider's schedule on the time you wish to schedule the group appointment. An example of a group appointment would be a smoking cessation meeting, teen clinics, etc. Please speak to your site lead to ensure you are creating and tracking group appointments as required by your site. For this example, Provider B will be facilitating a diabetes management session. Select the appropriate date and time of the session, right-click, and select Group Appointment. A group appointment window will open up. Similar to a patient appointment, appointment length, type, and reason must be completed within the top portion of the window. On the left-hand side of the window, the user has the opportunity to add additional information via notes and pop-up notes. These are free text opportunities that relate specifically to this appointment. On the lower left corner, adding any additional providers is completed by selecting the green plus icon and selecting the provider you wish to add. On the lower right side of this window is where you will identify the patients scheduled to attend this session. Adding patients to this appointment will also create an appointment history within their patient appointment history. You will select the green plus icon to begin adding the patients who will be scheduled to attend. Once all of the patients have been added, select OK. You will notice that the appointment appears in both provider schedules. Managing and tracking the patients as they arrive or perhaps do not show up for the session is easily managed by double-clicking on the appointment. This will allow you to select the patient you wish to track and right-click. Your options are limited to arrived, confirmed, and no-show. Similar to a patient appointment, tracking of the arrived patients is managed in the far right side of the appointment, denoting the 1 of 3 patients have arrived. A provider's day sheet can be printed directly from the scheduler window. Click your mouse anywhere within the schedule of the provider whose day sheet you would like to print. Select the printer icon at the top left-hand corner of the scheduler window. A preview of the day sheet will open. Select the printer icon at the top left of the preview. Ensure you are printing to the correct printer and then click on OK. I hope you have found this module of the scheduler section within Accuro helpful. For any questions or clarifications, please contact CSIS_support at wrha.mb.ca.